Hello guys, it's a warm welcome back. You know it always is, you're always warmly welcome. I find myself back at this cafe again. It's pretty proximate to where I live, so I suppose it's a Friday, what is it? It's a Friday morning. It's mid-morning on a Friday, so what the heck, enjoy a cappuccino while you can. This video is about, well, do you know what it's about? It's about the fact that I'm anonymous, and you don't always want to be anonymous, but it's nice to be anonymous. But it's not really about being anonymous, and being anonymous is the consequence of what I'm talking about. Basically what I'm talking about is the lack of curiosity that Thai people seem to have in relation to me. I'm speaking from my own experience. If this is your experience, or if your experience differs from this, let me know. I mean, I consider myself more than lucky to be living in this amazing country. Do you know what? It really is an amazing country. It's no wonder Thailand is so popular as a destination for tourism and for everything else. It's just an amazing place with amazing people, and I don't say that lightly. I really, really mean that. I'm so lucky to be here. Honestly, I'm so lucky to have my wife and my son. My son is Thai. Anyway, I don't want to go through all that, but basically it's the curiosity thing that I'm talking about today. And in some ways it's a good thing, in some ways it's a bad thing. And we're talking about the lack of curiosity. I know other people have different experiences, but I've been living here 12 years. That's what did I say 12 for? 10. I've been living here 10 years, and in all that time I haven't been asked any questions about me other than where are you from, or maybe what's your name, but that's it. And I'll go a step further to this, because I speak with more people than most people do. I interview Thai girls in the market every night, as you know, and I know I say this a lot from my other channel, The Big Picture El Panorama. And last night I spoke to about 10 girls, and you know, during the conversations, it's more or less a monologue. I'll ask them a question and they'll answer it. But in all my time of doing that, and I've been doing it for a year now, no girl has ever asked me. They ask you where you're from, but that's it. You know, I say I'm from Ireland, but they don't say what part of Ireland. They don't say, not that I'd expect them to know what parts of Ireland there are, but you know what I mean. They don't say what's the weather like, what's the food like, what language do you speak. I mean, they take it for granted to speak English. Although some would argue whether or not we speak English in Ireland. What we do, we speak Hiberno English. That's another thing. But anyway, my wife, for example, and this is the truth, I was teaching my son Harry. We're just showing him places on the map. You know, we had a globe actually, and I was pointing to the continents. So this is Australia, this is Canada, Canada, I said North America, South America. You know, he's only about 2.5, 3 at the time. Didn't want to make it too difficult, you know. And then I pointed to Ireland. And as most people think, by the way, this is just a side note, Ireland is fairly small on the globe, and most people say Ireland's a small island. You couldn't be further from the truth. Ireland is the 20th largest island in the world. In fact, it's a pretty big island. But there you go, that's just a quirky fact for you. As well as that, but just going off the beaten track here, we have kangaroos in Ireland. There's a colony of wallabies, not in a zoo, on an island off the coast of Dublin, Lambay Island. There you go, you can Google that if you want to. But I don't know why I'm talking about that. But, oh yeah, these are interesting facts about Ireland. But do you think my wife has ever asked me any question about Ireland? And I'd be only too eager to tell her about the wallabies on Lambay Island and off the coast of Dublin. I imparted that information to her, but she's no interest. But anyway, getting back to the day in question, where I was teaching my son, showing my son on the globe where this, that and the other was, and I said there's Ireland. And when I asked my wife to point out where Ireland is, or Ireland, where she thought Ireland was, she pointed to the Falkland Islands off the coast of Argentina. And by the way, if you're the Spanish contingent watching this, or the South American contingent, it's Las Malvinas to you, but there you go. But anyway, that's where she thought Ireland was, and that's, as far as she's concerned, is where Ireland is, because when I corrected her, she didn't even listen to me. She hasn't asked me once anything about Ireland. Nothing. it's incredible. Look what the weather is like, what the food is like, how far is it off the coast of Europe or whatever, anything, what side of the road. Yeah, actually once I was going to a wedding and there was a girl sitting in the passenger seat. I was driving, it was my wife's not family, it was her work crowd. And there was a lovely girl who spoke English and she had a Scottish boyfriend. And she had a little bit of knowledge about Farang, let's say. But she asked me the question, she just incidentally said, what side of the road do you drive on in Ireland? And I remember that distinctly because it's the first and only time anyone ever asked me that question or any other question other than, where are you from? What's your name? Where are you from? And again, I always say this, I'm not criticising it because it suits me sometimes. Most of the time it does. But curiosity, you know, there's no cats in Thailand dying of curiosity, that's for sure. It doesn't seem to be an issue. I was told once before that it was rude for a Thai student to interrupt the teacher during class to ask a question. They're not in the habit of asking you questions, you see. And this you know, the fact that they're not curious probably stems from that. But it's true, that's my experience. I have never been asked a question other than, where are you from, or what's your name, where are you from, and one person saying, what side of the road do you drive on in Ireland? That's the truth. Is your experience different? I know a friend of mine, Mark, up in Clonlawong. You're from Wales, Mark. I know you, but he had said to me, they ask him where he's from and he says Wales, but they don't know where that is, you see, so he just gets fed up and says England or Britain or whatever it may be. When I say Ireland, they seem to know. And but the curiosity after, it's not Dublin. They never say Dublin. I've come across one or two girls that I'd met when I've interviewed that had been to Dublin, and therefore I was able to have a discussion with them other than where are you from, Dublin or Ireland or whatever it may be. But there you go. I could waffle on. Actually, there's waffles in there and they're beautiful. In the Rista Cafe, that's where I am here. The Rista Cafe here in Sudisan. But I could waffle on all day about this, but I'd be hard pressed to find a Thai who will waffle on to me about asking questions about, I'm just saying hello to a friend of mine here, about asking questions about where I'm from or who I am or whatever it may be. But there you go, as I say, sometimes it suits, sometimes it doesn't. I suppose you could say you could feel lonely in a relationship if your wife doesn't know what country you're from. That's the truth. My wife does not actually know where I'm from. She knows the name of the country. But you see, because Thais don't pronounce their or they can't say Ireland, they say Iceland. The amount of times I've said I'm from Ireland and they go Iceland, and I say no, Iceland and Ireland are two separate countries. I think they can't get the concept because they can't pronounce the phonetic. Anyway, I've never been to Iceland. There's nothing wrong about Iceland. And if you were from Iceland, by the way, the benefit for you is at least they'll be able to pronounce the country you're from, but they won't ask you, you know, are you from Reykjavik or whatever else you're from there, or what's it like there. So there you go. What's your experience? Have you had or are you having a similar experience? Because if you are, or if you have, please let me know. Or if your experience is to the contrary, please let me know. Because this is just my experience. I'm not saying this is the way it is, it's just my experience. So guys, I tell you what, if you've enjoyed this experience, why don't you click that subscribe button, click the like button, click the share button, do all those wonderful things, and I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me.